Hello, folks, and welcome back to Gearbox Podcast, your weekly dose of podcast. I'm Nick,
And I am Moxi.
and today we're gonna talk about the beautiful Circuit of the Americas, the USGP. But first of all, let's talk about what happened in Japan. Moxie, back to you.
So I don't have to tell much about this race. We've got a DNF. I'm talking about the science DNF because he lost his car control at the second sector, causing him losing the points and of course being disqualified. Then I noticed, and we all noticed that a heavy piece, went towards Gasly's car, and that was really dangerous because Gasly might have crashed his car, and then it would be really a disaster. That would be really a disaster about the race. And we noticed that the rain was so heavy that the race was suspended for a bit, and then the race continued. Nevertheless, it was really like I felt disappointed while I was watching the race when the race was suspended because of the rain. But oh well, shit happens, and yeah, let's move forward. Let's talk about the Haas decision of letting Schumacher with wet tires. Was it a risky move? Did it pay off? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I remember that move. It was kind of fun, a fun moment, definitely for Schumacher because he led his first ever lap in Formula One, and it's definitely a nice moment for every driver who manages to have that feeling in his career. But I think it was a really risky move. The conditions were getting dry as time flew by. The track was for intermediates, not for wets, causing Schumacher to lose chances of being in the points. Because I believe if he pitted just like everyone else, maybe he could have had a chance to score some points, maybe a P10 result, maybe a P9 result. I believe that he had the material, the talent, and the car to manage to get a good result, but unfortunately, the strategy didn't pay off. It was a disaster for Haas and for Schumacher, and it was a pretty bad result for Haas in total. So, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, Schumacher had to go to the pit stop and change the tires because we noticed that most of the drivers went to the pit stop and changed the tires, and maybe Schumacher he would have scored some points. Nevertheless, he was really good in the GP, no matter what happened in the end. So, I got to say that I was really surprised to see Hamilton such having so much difficulty overpassing Ocon. And yeah, I had to mention that because we're not really used to see Hamilton having difficulty overpassing an Alpine driver. So, and finally, without further ado, let's talk about Leclerc corner cutting at the final turn. 5 second time penalty. Was it a risky move of Leclerc corner cutting and losing uh, the and cost him more specifically costing him the championship? What do you think, Nick?
Well, if you want to hear my honest opinion, it was uh, quite a stressful moment for Leclerc, knowing that the championship was played there, but he was getting pressurized by Perez all race long, pretty much the last 15 laps. Perez was just fighting, and Leclerc, he showed, because of his pace difference between him and Verstappen, he showed that he was not really enjoying the tires, the track in total. So I can pretty much understand why he ended up causing a lockup on his front tires, causing him to exceed track limits. and ending up getting a penalty, which, to be honest, I think it was really, really deserved by Leclerc because, well, he kept the position even though he made a mistake by exceeding track limits, and he blocked Perez at the end. So I believe that he deserved to lose the position. Unfortunately, it's not easy to see Ferrari and Leclerc lose the championship this year, but I believe they have chances next year as well.
Yeah, it was a well-deserved penalty. And of course, Verstappen being crowned world champion at this Formula One season. Not going to say much about Verstappen. He deserved it, and unfortunately, Leclerc lost his chance of being first-time world champion. So back to you, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. He had such a good season this year, kind of a chill season. After Spain, it was a Verstappen season, getting the wins, getting the good results, and the bad strategies by Ferrari causing Leclerc to just lose a gap and ending up having a huge gap between Verstappen, and now Leclerc is fighting Perez for that sweet second place. So yeah, I was not expecting a chance for Perez to snatch the second place after what we saw in the start of the year, but yeah, it is what it is, and it looks like we are still gonna have a nice fight for the second place. Maybe Sainz can go and have a go for maybe P3 or P2 on the Drivers' Championship. But what I'm really focusing on is Max Verstappen's chance to break the record for the most wins in a season, which is 13, with Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel, that sweet record that hasn't been beaten since 2013. Lewis Hamilton didn't have the chance to get that record. Can Max Verstappen get that record broken this year? What do you think, Moxie?
Well, Verstappen has a really good chance of overpassing and making a new record, breaking the record. But I don't think that in this season that's going to happen. I mean, he's a really good driver. He became second-time world champion, but it needs a lot of dedication and a lot of preparation to get a win at the Grand Prix. And but time is gonna tell, and yeah, time is gonna tell, and we'll see how Verstappen will go in this Grand Prix, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna correct myself if Verstappen is gonna win this Grand Prix. Then he might have a chance of breaking this record this season.
Yeah, if you want to hear my honest opinion, I believe that Max Verstappen might be able to even equalize or maybe get a 14 wins at a season. He's currently at 12 wins in a season, and with four races to go, I believe that he has some good chances in four tracks that he's shown some good pace, and with that and with this car I believe he might be able to get this record broken, as he has a good team, good car, and a good talent. Maybe he will be able to win this. But
Okay.
yeah, I believe we should add one more thing about, and it's the transfers that are that have happened in Suzuka. So Moxie, what do you have to tell us about this?
I'm really happy to see Gasly going to Alpine and see these two drivers, these two French drivers in the same team. And in addition, I would like to see these two drivers winning, scoring points, and being in a place which is well deserved for both. And I'm also happy to see the Vries um, being an AlphaTauri driver, and yeah, I think that Tsunoda and De Vries De Vries are going to have a really good battle between them, and yeah, I hope that we're going to see a really entertaining season. Uh, the upcoming one is going to be a really entertaining season. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, I will also add that we have at this moment two two positions at the second spot for Haas and the second spot for Williams that are just here waiting to be filled up, and it's kind of a nice thing to see because I really don't know who will be in a good position to fill the spot. Obviously, we have Daniel Ricciardo after losing his position by Oscar Piastri at McLaren, and now that the Alpine second driver position is filled up, I don't really know who, in which team actually will be going to Daniel Ricciardo and say, okay, do you want to join after actually a pretty bad season? But I think, in my opinion, I think Haas is going to give the second place car in Daniel Ricciardo's hands, and Robert Schwartzman is going to be without with Williams, or maybe Logan Sargent. Both of them, we are going to see them in free practice on the United States Grand Prix today, and it's going to be an interesting one. Depending on who will show a good result, I believe that they have to use this free practice session as a chance to show what they're capable of. And I believe that these two, Logan Sargent and Robert Schwartzman, have a good chance on being on a F1 spot next year. Back to you, Moxie.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I also think that Ricciardo is going to be in Haas, and maybe in Williams going to be a F2 promoted driver. I don't know who, but yeah, it's going to be really entertaining to see. So let's move on to USGP preview. We gotta say a lot about this Grand Prix. A really entertaining Grand Prix, a Grand Prix that has shown us really good fights. And let me tell you a few things about the Grand Prix. So the laps are going to be 56, and the circle length is 5,513 kilometers. And the driver who has the most wins in the United States Austin Grand Prix is Lewis Hamilton with 6 wins in 2007, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016 and 2017. We're talking about 4 wins in this Grand Prix. And for those who want to know when the qualifying session is going to take place, it is going to take place this Saturday for us tomorrow, in 22 of October, and race can take place in 23 of October. Of course, we're talking about that. I'm going to tell most of you guys who live abroad and for the American viewers who watch us, it's going to be a time difference as usual, because like US has its time difference with the other countries. And let's talk about the last 5 pole positions in this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton had 3 pole positions in 2016, 2018 and 2019. Valtteri Bottas had also a pole position in 2019, and the last one who had seen with a pole position in the United States Grand Prix, it is Max Verstappen in 2021. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, so I will also add that the Circuit of the Americas is kind of a new circuit added to the F1 calendar, the first ever Grand Prix in the 2012 season. And let me also add that Lewis Hamilton is pretty much an expert in this circuit, having one, two, three, not four, but five wins in Austin. And Max Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, Valtteri Bottas, and Sebastian Vettel with one win up their belt in the circuit of the Americas, an anti-clockwise circuit with 20 corners in a lap. It's a great circuit with many medium speed corners, high speed corners, straight hairpins, low speed corners. It has everything, and I just can't wait to see what will happen this weekend. Back to you, Moxie.
Yeah, I hope that all the drivers are going to do well in this Grand Prix. And of course, since Verstappen is crowned champion, we're not going to talk about the championship now because, yeah, Verstappen has been crowned champion. But I hope that Leclerc will keep his second place and Perez will stick to his third place because I'm a Ferrari fan, so I want Leclerc to be in a really good position. So, what do you think? Who's going to be in the first place? In the qualifying session, who's going to take the pole position, and the race who's going to be in the first place? What do you think, Nick?
So, yeah, just like I mentioned, the circuit has everything in terms of corner speed and the variety of corners in total. So, I believe that Mercedes are gonna bring a perfect result, and George Russell is gonna snatch pole position, his second ever in his career, having his first ever at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Before this season closer in the summer break, and we've seen promising results by George Russell in the whole season. So I believe that again he's gonna bring a good result in this challenging circuit. But I believe the winner of this year's USGP in the Circuit of the Americas is going to be Max Verstappen, again snatching a two win in a row in the Circuit of the Americas. But I believe he's not going to have an easy work after battling it out with George Russell for the first place. What do you think?
I think that Lewis Hamilton is going to take the pole position because I think the experience will tell. And in the second place, I think it's going to be Max Verstappen. In the third place, sorry, it's going to be Charles Leclerc. About the race, I think that Lewis Hamilton is going to be overpassed by Verstappen, unfortunately, because Mercedes car is not that great this season, and I don't think that he's gonna that Hamilton's gonna keep his first position. And of course, he's gonna be in the third place, getting overpassed also by Charles Leclerc. But I think he's gonna get the podium, and if he's not gonna get the podium, then yeah, I'm really good. I'm gonna be really bad at predictions. Back to you, Moxie. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a fun weekend here at the Circuit of the Americas. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to say, to be honest. Do you have anything else, Moxie, to add?
Not at all.
Okay, lads, so we hope you're going to enjoy this year's USGP at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas. I have been having a great season, and it's been a thriller all year long. So it's been Nick.
And it's been Moxie.
We hope you have a nice time watching the circuit, and we'll see you for the next one.
See you guys.